What's up, everyone? The stock market is at a do or die moment as we are at a very important support level and a ton of volatility is coming into the markets this week. We have some big news with the FOMC minutes report, inflation data, and earnings. It's going to be a wild week. In this video, we're going to go over the important things to know heading through the rest of this week, but also some good stocks to watch tomorrow. Tom, we're not wasting any time. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, it was an insane day. The S&P 500 started falling back off towards major support. We actually fell under 360, which was pretty big, and then kind of bounced off that support from last week, really close to 358. So I'm really watching the SPY here. If we end up falling below 358 and 357, I'll definitely be looking at it to the downside over the next couple of days. This is getting pretty brutal, Mike. And you know, one stock that really caught my eye to the downside was Microsoft. It started actually falling down to yearly lows today and breaking below its support. So I'm a little bit scared that this is maybe forecasting what could start to happen in the rest of the market. And that was a pretty big break there. So it's pretty scary, Mike. Lots of selling pressures coming in. The heat map is definitely looking red here. Even the oil stocks were down today pretty largely. We did see some stocks up, like in the healthcare sector, but other than that, really most of the tech stocks fell. Nvidia and the semiconductors were down a lot. Netflix was actually a good surprise, up 2%, but besides just a few outliers, mainly just red momentum here creeping in.
Very true. So as you brought up, a lot of stocks are at their yearly lows, and we're not just talking about some random penny stocks. We're talking about like market moving dominant companies at their lows. And the CEO of JP Morgan actually had some scary things to say with the economy right now. So fill us in.
Yeah, he actually said that we could tip into recession within 6 to 9 months, and this is terrible. And he said you just cannot talk about the economy without talking about stuff in the future. And he said this is very serious stuff. There's a lot of great quotes here from him. But Mike, some of the best ones that I saw were whenever I scroll down, he gave an outlook for the S&P 500. I know a lot of our viewers really track the S&P 500 and certain levels that it's at. And he said that he could see it falling by another 20%, an easy 20% nonetheless, from current levels, and adding that the next 20% would obviously be much more painful than the first. And like I kept saying, he said that we could fall in the recession, and he did say that the Feds, he did say that they're kind of catching up, but obviously they waited too long and they just did too little in the beginning here. And obviously these rising rates are hurting the economy. So definitely big news, or big statements, I should say, from JP Morgan. And looking at their stock, Mike, it's falling down right around support as well. And we might have to really watch this one closely, because if it starts breaking, it could maybe start to run like Microsoft.
No doubt. And I want to say this about the Jamie Dimon article. When you have these big bank CEOs, sometimes they'll say some whack things in the news because they are incentivized for certain events to happen. I know in 2020, one of these big bank CEOs, I forgot who it was, but they went on CNBC like saying these horrible things, you know, causing more market panic. And then at the same time he was doing that, he was loading up, buying the dip on stocks. So keep in mind, like, these guys, like, sometimes they say some whack things on purpose for their own best interest. So just keep that in mind with these articles.
Yeah, and I will say Jamie Dimon does have a pretty historical, I think, Mike, a lot of people dislike Jamie Dimon for the exact reason you just said. So definitely be careful. Take this with a grain of salt, guys. But nonetheless, he's saying we could possibly see a recession in 6 to 9 months. And Mike, a lot of people are saying we're already in recession. You know, obviously, it seems like the Feds, what did they do? Did they change I think they changed the meaning or the term of it. Obviously, I know it used to be 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, but I know that they're saying right now the jobs numbers are holding up well and everything like that. So we'll have to see, but it seems like it's always changing nowadays.
True. All right. So, Tom, I look at the SPY right now, and to me, it's at like a make or break moment. We're basically at the lows of the year. There's giant support at 360 and 355, and we have a couple major events heading into this week. Of course, we have the FOMC minutes on Wednesday. That'll be important, 2 p.m. Eastern time. But even more important is Thursday, 1 hour before open, we have the inflation data. Inflation has been driving everything over the past year, and we want this to come in low. If it comes in higher than expected, oh, that could be bad for the market. So SPY's at a make or break level right now. Obviously, if we could bounce off this support, that would be awesome. If we flush through it though, it's going to be nasty.
Yeah, and I think we might just start to trade off of this level or just go flat heading into that event, obviously, Thursday morning. That's going to be a very influential thing, Mike. And like you said, some of these big supports here are definitely huge in the time being. And some big stocks I'll be looking at this week, kind of as we start to get into some of these events, is actually going to be Meta, Mike. I actually know they have a big event coming up tomorrow on October 11th, which is their Connect event. I know that we talk about Meta quite a bit. I know that we've covered this event also in other videos, but they're going to be having a conference for developers, creators, tech enthusiasts, and others who want to hear about the latest efforts. And they're pretty much going to talk about all their technology going into their headsets and different stuff with the metaverse. So sounds awesome, Mike. I hope that they can kind of surprise everybody and maybe generate some hype with some cool announcements. But Meta's stock has been brutal. Even today, it fell down to a yearly low down there around 132. So we'll have to see if maybe this event can bring it back from the dead here, at least in the short term.
True, we will see. Another setup I'm really watching is one that I have not talked about before, and that's WEAT. So it's like wheat kind of. It is a wheat ETF, but essentially the wheat ETF went crazy a couple months ago. It started out around $7.50 and blasted all the way up to $12.50. Right now it's right around $9.30. It's up around 5% today, and the reason for this is because there was a pretty big bombing between Russia and Ukraine, or multiple big bombings lately, but in Crimea specifically, attacking Russia, and then Russia bombed Ukraine today. Long story short, there are fears that Russia will start to bomb some of the Ukrainian crop fields again, and if that's the case, considering Ukraine is such a large exporter of those grains, there will be less supply. Therefore, demand's not going down. Demand's not going down as it is. So when you have less supply, the price for wheat's going to go up. So these types of fears are making WEAT pop up. So it's really on my watch list. Decent volumes flowing in, and it's up 5%. So I'm definitely watching it for maybe a play for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a pretty good one, Mike. I know Keisha from the live streams in the morning has actually been talking about wheat for the past couple months too, and she actually bought in pretty low. So she's been kind of killing it on wheat lately. So shout out to Keisha. But yeah, it does look pretty good, Mike. Keep it on your radar. I'm sure you can catch some pretty good trades on this one over the next few days. And another big stock I'll be watching is Kraft Heinz. I know this one's not everybody's favorite stock out there, but they do sell some pretty big products that obviously go on the market. They do better a lot during times of high inflation too, because obviously people still need to buy a lot of these cooking products and stuff like that, even if prices do rise slightly. But Goldman actually had a bullish call on them today, and they upgraded them to a buy rating from neutral. So I thought that was very interesting. They were up 4%, and they're bouncing right off of recent support. If we look at that daily chart, there's a huge support down here right around $32 or $33, and it's pretty much double bottoming right there as of now.
Good stuff. All right, well, another important thing I want to talk about really quickly are earnings for the rest of this week. What does the schedule look like?
Yeah, pretty big. So Thursday is obviously going to really kick us off. Wednesday, we do have Pepsi before open, but Thursday, we have Taiwan Semiconductors, Delta, BlackRock, Domino's Pizza, and Walgreens. But Friday, we have all the big banks. So we talked about JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon earlier, and they're going to actually be reporting earnings on Friday. So be ready for that, along with Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, PNC, and US Bancorp. So definitely big there. United Health even reports Friday. I know that's a huge healthcare stock, so keep those stocks on your radar. JP Morgan and Citigroup will probably be my two biggest watchers, Mike. I know Citigroup has been also falling off a lot this year as well.
No doubt. What's nice about these bank stocks is they pay some pretty good dividends, so definitely check them out. But Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Boeing to the upside.
Boeing, that's very nice to see here today. Go ahead and make them. They had a high of day there, Mike, right around 135.77, but a huge intraday resistance right at 133. So make them break above that.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have UPS, also to the upside.
UPS, very nice. They also have a good intraday resistance right around 160.40.
And with the last one, we have SWBI, but this one's to the downside.
Yeah, unfortunately, Smith and Wesson to the downside here. They're at a major support too. Make them break right below $10, which is a big psychological level.
And actually, Tom, the more I look at SWBI, can you also give us a resistance level to the upside as well?
Yeah, it's kind of channeling here. Make them break out above $10.50. I'll actually draw out that channel really quick.
Perfect. Yeah, so SWBI is definitely channeling. That's why I wanted both levels on it. So if it breaks out of this range, it can be great to the upside. If it breaks below it, obviously it could definitely fall down more. It's been a tough year for many stocks, and definitely we don't want to rule out SWBI from that category because it's taken quite a beating lately. But also for UPS and Boeing, definitely keep them on your watch list tomorrow. If they break above the levels Tom listed, we like them for day trades, so keep them on your watch list. We also want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Margaret K, in the YouTube comments. Thank you so much for the comments. They really help us out. And thank you so much for the kind words. Tom, I'm very excited for the market for the rest of the week, especially on Thursday with this inflation data. The market's at a crucial point. A lot of stocks are basically at their yearly lows, and I think we're going to see a lot of great movement.
Yeah, I really hope we do, especially back to the upside, Mike, because it's just been so long since we've seen a solid uptrend. I know just last week we actually had some pretty good movement on the SPY back up, and then it gave all of those gains back on Friday and then now today. So that was pretty unfortunate to see. So hopefully the support holds up. It's definitely a big support here. Obviously, I'm really waiting for that big event as well on Thursday with all the inflation data. So keep your eyes on the radar, guys. It might not be a bad time to hedge a little bit. I know a lot of people like to trade SPXS to the upside whenever SPY falls. And, if you notice that SPY maybe starts to break below support, it might not be bad to try to pick up some day trades here. I know they can definitely pay off a little bit.
Here we go. And if you guys are looking for daily options alerts, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. Besides that, let's have an amazing week.